Ladies and gentlemen, it is your man, Jelani JB Bodie, host of this thing called The Wait a Minute Show, and we are back in the building once again here on Hump Night on X Squad Radio Network to give you your sports fix. I'm not going to go any further talking about anything until we get back from this music. Lopan, kick the music.
It's The Wait a Minute Show.
Hold up. Wait a minute, show. JD Bodie, that's my bro. Wait a minute, show. My man Pan is on the low. Wait a minute, show. JD Bodie, that's my bro. Wait a minute, show. My man Pan is on the low. Coming straight out of Flake, Michigan. JB Bodie is him again. 2 times Wednesday, Saturday. Show make you wanna sing Donny Hathaway. Facebook Live, Spreaker.com. It's the Wait a Minute Show. Fan, man, we drop bombs as we proceed. Just tune in, no need to take a feed. Hanging with the stews. JB, that's my dude. And I don't mean to be rude, but these other shows lame like eating prunes. Facebook got you tweaking. Speakers, eardrums bleeding. JB got what you need. My man Lopan saying yes indeed. Go to thewaitaminteshow.com to follow all episodes.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is your man, Jelani JB Bodie, the host of this thing called The Wait a Minute Show. And like I said before, we are back in the building here on Hump Night, here in the ATL, here in the Lion Den studio, here to give you your sports fix. So I hope y'all are ready because we got a boatload of stuff to talk about on this episode, namely, college football. Namely, NBA playoffs. Namely, Major League Baseball. Namely, anything else that you may want to talk about. So, relax. I got you for the next hour, whatever. Maybe we'll go over a little bit. And when I say we, I don't do this thing by myself. I couldn't do this thing by myself because if I did, I probably would have my sanity. How about that? But ladies and gentlemen, there's none other than my co-host in here that always continues to be a thorn, and you know what? But he is none other than the L, the O, the P, the A, the N. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for my man, Lopan. Indeed. Yes, so why are you looking at me like that, Lopan? I mean, I just said what we were going to talk about. No, we're not going to talk about the weekend. I didn't have anything going on, and I know it's something that you want to talk about, but this is a family show. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that here. You can do that on another show. Talk about your weekend and everything, because that will not be discussed here. So, ladies and gentlemen, like I said before, we got a lot of stuff that we're going to get into. Like I said, I didn't have nothing really to talk about this weekend. I did lose my mind on Saturday's show on thewaitaminteshow.com, but I got my Martin, and for those who don't know, because J-Ron, he was like, what are you talking about? But I did get my Martin Lawrence playing card. So from the TV show Martin, it was themed. I got those, so I was pretty happy. I guess that made my weekend, but I digress. Let me get off that weekend stuff. Let's talk about middle of the week and some news that have been going down here in the sports world. First thing I want to talk about actually is last night in the NFL, I really didn't think we were going to get an episode or a show or anything, but we did actually have a football show to watch, and that was Hard Knocks. So Hard Knocks actually premiered their first episode, and this was the first time. And this Hard Knocks was a first for a lot of things, out there. This was the first time they were covering two teams at the same time, covering the Los Angeles Rams and the Los Angeles Chargers. Obviously, it makes sense, but since both of them are in the city, since both of them are sharing the same stadium, since both of them moved to LA at the same time, so all that makes sense. So this episode, and normally the first one, you really just kind of get a foundation, if you will, a lot of stuff as far as like what you're going to build off of, maybe what direction they may go. We kind of find out maybe who they're going to, follow around. We've seen the Rams on here before, long time ago. Well, not a long time ago, but, a little while ago, where Jared Goff was on here and they were kind of, poking fun at Jared Goff and among some other LA Rams. And at that time they had just moved to LA. So Hard Knocks had did an episode then, so now they're back, with it. This one, covering the, jumping back and forth with the Chargers, actually was just different. I'm not going to say it was interesting or anything like that. You had different coaches actually back then. It was what was it? Fisher, Coach Fisher, Jeff Fisher. Jeff Fisher was the coach back then, and he, infamously said, about them and their record about what they were going to have, and it did not pan out that way, and he got fired and all that stuff. But this one, we found out a few things. Chargers coach Anthony Lynn, he revealed that he did have COVID-19, and so he spoke with the team about that. So it was a lot of discussion about COVID. There was a lot of discussion about social injustice. There was a lot of discussions about, the platform that they have. Now, here's the thing that kind of threw me, because we really didn't get into anything related to football, and I'm not shocked at that at all, because they're really not playing football. They're having walkthroughs and all that stuff, so we'll get to that eventually. But the one thing that just really kind of threw me, and my experience with this was a lot different than what they do in LA. And maybe it's a West Coast thing or something, but at the beginning, or, near the beginning of the episode, players were showing up, and of course they're trying to keep everyone safe, and they're doing these daily tests that they have to do for the COVID. So they got that on film as far as like some of the players. And some of the players, they playing around, joking around, and others, they got to get themselves ready. Here's the thing that threw me, and maybe it's just me. So if you are comfortable with discussing this, go ahead. You can put it in the Wait a Minute Show chat room. But I got a COVID-19 test done. And when they gave me the test, and I didn't have any symptoms or anything like that, so everybody don't be worried. This was just a precautionary measure because I had to leave out of the house, and I just wanted to make sure before I left the house that I was okay, and I didn't want to go if something was wrong, and I didn't know because, you got the asymptomatic and all that stuff. If something was wrong, I didn't want to put someone else in jeopardy. But everything came back negative, so we're good. But when they administered the test, they told me, they said, look, we're going to take this Q-tip, all right? We're only going to use one nostril, but we're going to kind of go deep. And it'll be in there for about 10 seconds. It'll be, a little bit uncomfortable and all this stuff. But it'll be over before you know it. So, okay, fine. So, didn't want to do it, obviously, but had to. So they take this Q-tip and they go to the back of my nose, and I'm like, oh, wow, And it's not like painful, it's just uncomfortable. So when I'm watching Hard Knocks, and they're like, they got to do this every day. And I've been hearing all this stuff about how these tests have been done every day, in the NFL, NBA, all over the sports world. And I'm like, man, these dudes are taking these Q-tips up the nose like that every day. I know they have to get on their nerves. Well, they do things different in LA. They playing around on the outer rim of the nose and everything, and and they doing both nose and all that stuff. Nothing anywhere remotely close to how I did when I got my test. So I'm trying to figure out, are they doing it right? Was mine wrong? Is there different ways? That was a while back. Maybe it's a new trend. I don't understand this, but there are a lot of things that I was confused about because I'm like, these guys are getting off pretty easy, which I thought they were going through, some dramatic, stuff. And maybe that's why some of these false positives were happening in the NFL. It could be, it could not be. But it just threw me. So I'm thinking, how are people administering these tests all over the country? And the reason I bring that up is because we're going to talk about this a little bit later with college football and how that plays a part. But for the first episode, for Hard Knocks, it was a few, little funny stuff in there. But everyone is basically getting ready. They weren't allowing them to practice, like I said before, so that you don't have any football. These are really just going to be storylines. It's going to be different. Get used to it. These episodes that we're going to see this year, I'm pretty sure it's not going to resemble anything like we've seen before. But HBO, they'll find something, that they can talk about, and they'll find something that they can highlight. That's what they do, and that's how they get paid. Now, speaking of how people get paid, college football or college sports, they get paid, not the athletes, but they get paid, primarily through football and basketball. We all know that. And the football season is upon us, and we're trying to figure out, how is this thing going to work? How is this thing with college football going to go down? And so there was rumors, and one of the first people that was talking about this was actually my man Tyler Butler from Sports and Culture, and he talked about it. He said the Big Ten had been in discussions about canceling the fall season for football. That came to fruition. Big Ten has shut it down for the fall, followed by the Pac-12. They also shut it down. And commissioner of the Big Ten, Kevin Warren, was interviewing, and they were, they're going to ask him, what came to this decision? And a lot of what I got from that interview is basically he just said, the unknown. We don't have anything when it comes to COVID-19 that is going to give us information to where we feel we can make a solid and confident decision or put something in place that would protect the students and protect everyone else that is participating in these sports. So they just didn't feel comfortable with it. So they said, you know what, we're going to shut the season down for the fall. There's been talks maybe that they play in the spring. Pac-12, like I said, has done the same thing. Those are the only two conferences right now. ACC, SEC is in discussion, and it looks like the Big 12 has decided they're going to go ahead and go on with their season, at least at this point. Now, anything could change in incoming weeks, and if the season starts. We spoke about this weeks ago when the Ivy League shut it down, UConn shut it down, and it was when the Ivy League shut it down, and I said this, I don't think it was something that they must have known or something that they did not know that led to the decision of them to shut down the sports. Now, obviously, the Ivy League doesn't depend on sports like the rest of some of these universities do. Or it's not a focal point in our country like these Power 5 conferences. So obviously you would think that just like the Big Ten and everything, they're going to take longer. They're not going to be, as quick. But this is what I was talking about is that, look, there is some things that is being explained to some people in high positions to make these decisions as far as like what is in the best interest. And I know, and we're going to talk about this later, I know the players want to play. I know the coaches want to have a season. I know the fans want to watch college football. Trust me, I'm one of them. I would love to watch college football. I would